We are back in another reaction, and yeah, this is going to be talking about the truth about some of the biggest YouTubers that you've all watched. I've watched, you've watched, your mom watched, Granny watched, everybody's watched. I want to dive into this reaction because there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about some of these YouTubers, and this one should be pretty good, you guys. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So this reaction is going to be from abroad in Japan, and he's going to dive into some of the good, bad, and the ugly about some of these YouTubers we see. Now, you guys, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe, as I am trying to grow this channel. You guys have been killing it on my last videos. I really appreciate that. So hopefully we can keep that trend going. But let's dive right into this reaction.
You know, we're often taught in Hollywood films that the bad guys don't get to win, that there's consequences for your actions, right? But the older you get, the more you realise that simply isn't the case. I've been lucky to do this 12 years now, and in that time I've witnessed YouTube empires rise and fall. Hell, I've witnessed my stomach and waistline rise and fall, subsequently rise again, unfortunately. And amidst those 12 years, I can pinpoint the worst moment of my whole career without hesitation, the absolute low point of it all. 6 years ago, on a cold winter's morning, a Japanese news crew turned up to my apartment from the biggest morning news show in the country called Mezamashi Terebi. I'd been contacted because something awful had happened, and I'd been asked to explain why. One of the world's biggest YouTubers at the time had turned up and done some really messed up things, from throwing Pokemon balls at police officers and terrorising the public, to going into a forest and filming something so horrific I can't even explain what it is, because it would instantly have this video blacklisted.
Well, you never stand next to a dead guy?
I was really embarrassed to be associated with this in any way. But as a foreign YouTuber in Japan, I was the closest thing the TV show had to the guy in question, right? And I had to sit and explain to several million people why a foreign YouTuber would so brazenly exploit the dead for views. Not a normal situation, right? You know, sitting in your apartment, 9 AM, surrounded by cameras, having to explain that. What do you even say? You know? And in a normal world, what that guy did would have been a career-ending move.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
If not that, then perhaps another video he posted just weeks later, tasering dead animals and attempting to give CPR to a koi carp that he'd pulled out of the water.
Lapse in my judgment.
And in the years since, the headlines surrounding this guy
crazy.
have continued to spell bad news. There's not been much in the way of a redemption arc.
Severe lapse in my judgment.
I mean, let's just be real. The Paul brothers in general, they'll do anything for entertainment. They'll do anything for money. I mean, that is the root of all success. That's the root of everyone's forever relay race to success is money. But these guys take it just a little bit too far sometimes. I also say that about Mr. Beast too. Like, Mr. Beast is all smiles, as we can see on YouTube. Its thumbnails are all smiles. But there's some pretty heinous things that's going on behind the scenes. And I mean, his own employees have said it. He's not the guy that everyone thinks he is. Everyone puts on a face for a camera. I mean, I don't. You guys see me first thing in the morning, coffee in hand. It's like 6 AM. But yeah, they put on this face that you can kind of read through it. You can tell when there's some sinister stuff involved, man.
Judgment.
With all that in mind, you can probably imagine my disappointment when Mr. Beast, the world's biggest YouTuber, partnered with this guy, Logan Paul, and endorsed him to an audience of over 300 million subscribers, many of them kids. Now it's an exciting month for Mr. Beast, particularly with the impending launch of the somewhat controversial Amazon TV show, in which he allegedly spent $14 million constructing what appears to be a rainbow-coloured prison camp. Honestly, until this year, I didn't really have any opinions on Mr. Beast. His content isn't really aimed at me. Still, you look at the 300 million subscribers, the 200 million views per video, and it's hard to deny that that is an impressive achievement. And you have to wonder what drives someone to want all that. You know, where does that motivation come from? We're told that it comes from a desire to make the world a better place. It's about inspiring kids and highly publicised charity work. And even a cold-hearted cynic like me wants to think that the person at the top has a a noble ambition, you know, that they're guided by something more than just a masked ambition for money, views, power. Maybe he really is a force for good. Oh wait, he just wanted to sell snack boxes to children.
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
Snack boxes that quickly appeared in photos shared online to have practically turned mould into a flavour profile. Yummy yum yum, shut up and give it to your kids. It's got an electrolyte in it. He partnered with a guy who not only did all the awful shit that I just listed off, but who recently turned one of the most important moments of his life, his wife's pregnancy, into one big billboard for the aforementioned snack box. At first it was very strange. Like, how could Mr. Beast, a guy who is famed for being a genius, who
it's kind of hard to believe that the Lunchable, fresh out of the package, was like that. There's so many different stipulations that can, and not to defend Mr. Beast or the Paul, not to defend either one of them, but there's so many different stipulations that can show mold. I mean, people can have those Lunchables in their refrigerator or on the counter for 7 days, and then there's mold, and then, oh yeah, this is a photo op opportunity to slander them. Let me show them mold. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was mold inside of the store. Now, the way you want to slander someone, if you are going to slander them using their product, is opening the package directly in the store. Like, that is the way to slander them. And it has mold in it there. And even that, it doesn't really fall back on them. That can be the timing of the particular store, whether it's Walmart, Target, of them putting that product on the shelf. That could be the refrigerator that the product's in is not working. There's so many different stipulations. So I'm not going to judge them off of the mold on the Lunchleys. I'm just not going to do that.
Mastered the algorithm. How could he not calculate that partnering with such a man would be anything other than a shit idea? But perhaps it shouldn't come as a surprise, as this is literally the guy who once made a video saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. Several months before Logan Paul himself went into a Japanese forest and gave the world 100,000 reasons to forget his name. Who knows, saying a name 100,000 times, maybe it does something to you, you know, like a kind of crappy version of Inception. Maybe that's why he partnered with him. Or maybe it was the fact that Logan Paul's drink Prime is selling hundreds of millions of dollars. And such a partnership was an opportunity simply too
Don't drink
good
Prime.
to ignore.
It's
now,
actually
until this
really
year,
bad
any
for you.
criticism of Mr. Beast was immediately the subject of much backlash, particularly due to his extensive charity work. You know, philanthropy can be a very powerful defensive mechanism. You know, I still remember a year ago the backlash Jacksepticeye Sean received after he famously said that Mr. Beast was ruining YouTube and that YouTube became more about money than it did about having fun. Agree with it or not, it's not an unreasonable opinion to have, and we're all entitled to have our opinions, right? But like clockwork, Mr. Beast called him out in a now deleted and somewhat childish outburst, saying, "So I ruined YouTube because I didn't buy a mansion and a sports car. I inspired kids to help people." Oh, he says that out loud. And yet literally last month,
Guys, yeah, Mr. Beast, that was kind of the bad thing to say in response. But I don't feel like Mr. Beast ruined YouTube. I truthfully don't feel like he ruined YouTube. I do feel like he might have played with people's attention span, and that in a nutshell is like bad for humanity. And I know he's all for good and causes for humanity, but the small things of how you even edit your video is bad for humanity. I mean, let's just be real. You have a new scene, new snippet, new cut, new boom, new slam, pow in every video. And it's to the point where kids can't even sit and watch a movie because they're not being stimulated over and over and over and over. And then another thing, I made another video about Mr. Beast. I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but Mr. Beast, you guys remember when he was fixing, you know, the blind or helping blind people see? There was a article that came out that said that the doctors that performed the nonprofit, I believe it was a nonprofit that performed those surgeries, they actually have still not been paid for what they did. Now, Mr. Beast, you make so much money. How is it that they have not been paid for the services they provided? I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I think the amount of money that you give away, the amount of money that you show in your videos, the tournaments, the contests, the events, the games, the Beast games, and you still haven't paid a nonprofit. It's insane.
Month it was revealed he did have a sports car because he got done for speeding in it, complete with a nice clean shaven mugshot to match, in an also now deleted video where he bought a BMW i8, a $100,000 car.
So I guess I'll show you guys the inside,
which I think fits the definition.
Yeah,
of
so a
sports car.
$100,000 car to
drove it
Mr. Beast is like a $100 car.
in a 70 mile per hour zone. And look, granted, he was a young man, he's come a long way since, and we all make mistakes. I myself have got a speeding ticket or two, not for doing 122 miles per hour, but I don't think my K car could do that speed if I pushed it off a cliff. But that reply of his always stuck with me. Right there, it was the story of how Mr. Beast kind of sees himself. And as somebody who did charity fundraising myself this year, you know, cycling for 2 weeks, raising $1 million, I think it's great that you can use charity as a sort of shield. The next time somebody criticises me or my videos or anything about me, my hair, I could be like, fuck you, I cycled on a bicycle for 2 weeks, I raised $1 million for charity, I inspired kids. Oh, he says that out loud. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a rant about this on a stream after I drank a little bit too much caffeine. And now people have heard the story of how I became Logan Paul's PR man. Hopefully people understand why I had that rant, both here and there. It sort of went viral online on YouTube and Twitter and a few places. And it was quite interesting seeing the response. I also felt quite exposed because, you know, it's easier just to say nothing on these sort of matters. Keep your head down, like most people. Even doing this video now, very stupid of me. This video will open myself up to more scrutiny than I would have otherwise had. I had a few people sort of distance themselves from me, which is fair enough.
You know, I don't think it's gonna be bad. Sometimes it's good to expose, guys. Sometimes it's good to expose because a lot of people are living in a lie. Like, the reality is right in front of you, and so many people live behind their iPhone screens. So it's good to let the world know how you feel. And this is to anyone that's you know, not even just YouTubers. You guys watching, it's good to voice your opinion and your thoughts. That's your right. Flex it.
He's a powerful guy, old Mr. Beast, and entire companies are built around him. You know, people don't want to burn that bridge. I also witnessed some comments saying the Logan Paul thing was 6 years ago, the Forest incident, it's in the past, we have to forgive, we have to forget, time to move on. And I agree, if somebody shows remorse for their actions and learns from it and moves on, then he should be able to forgive them, even for something perhaps as bad as all the stuff he did in Japan. But type Logan Paul's name in online and the headlines aren't exactly a source of inspiration. It's never too late to turn it round, of course. Last year I made a video on two influencers who were kind of the spiritual successors to Logan Paul, who came to Japan and did some really fucking stupid things. One of them didn't learn from his errors and is now in a South Korean jail. And the other guy, who rode a bullet train without paying, went back home to Cyprus to become a member of parliament in the EU.
Bozo.
Yes, it seems
the guy that's like ripping and running in Japan and just being
like
a
his personal
nutcase.
Disneyland fast pass.
He deserves
now
all the jail time that he's going to get, all the disrespect.
But whether I like
doing.
it or not, and I definitely don't, this drama crap matters, because when I run into a friend, family, viewer, the first question they always ask is, oh, what do you think about that drama on YouTube? What do you think about Mr. Beast's mouldy lunch?
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
What do you think
Like I
about
said, I don't believe that one.
coin?
Give him that hawk.
What did you think of Logan Paul?
Guys, have you seen my reaction to the Hawk Tool scam? You have to go watch it. You definitely have to go watch it, because that one is a good one. Let me tell you.
Brother fighting a crippled pensioner and acting like it was somehow a victory for the ages.
That was shameless.
The influencers we see,
sad.
the drama that unfolds. It all matters, because that is how people perceive YouTube.
Everything is for money.
And this week's most notable controversy is a good example of that. With Hawk Tour Girl selling her audience an incredible new cryptocurrency that hit a market cap of $500 million and which crashed shortly thereafter, losing 95%
It's sad
of its
too,
value
because
and
she's
leaving
so
thousands of her
freaking
viewers out of pocket.
just
What makes
soft
it crazy
and
is how she
beautiful. She's
condensed
the
the 5-year
beautiful
lifespan of a
young
modern
lady.
influencer into just
And
like
that
2 or
just
3
made her
months.
so
Step
ugly.
1, have a viral moment. Step 2, have a podcast. Step 3, unleash a cryptocurrency, which quickly goes wrong. And you know, it can be easy to mock the people that bought the coins from this cryptocurrency, right? It shouldn't take a Harvard scholar to work out this isn't somebody who should be masterminding a fucking currency. But the really sad thing is her viewership trusted her. And whatever you think of those viewers, it's kind of sad, really. Now, when my initial rant got picked up on stream a few weeks ago, it was sort of misconstrued. People thought my argument was making money is bad, or making money is bad as an influencer, which simply isn't the case. And if it was the argument I was making, it would be very hypocritical of somebody who's done sponsor segments myself. If I hadn't said yes to a few sponsors, I couldn't have built this epic studio. I couldn't have hired a team to create Japan's largest travel series, Journey Across Japan. We had 63 episodes, only one of them had a sponsor segment. Very proud of that. And I couldn't have spent 6 weeks in autumn producing a documentary about a Japanese town that tragically got completely destroyed in an earthquake. Please watch the documentary if you see it come up next week on YouTube. It's far more important to me than this. But the argument I hope to make wasn't a controversial one. It's making money with principles matters, and partnering with people that don't mock the dead in a forest matters. And if the people at the top of this platform with unimaginable reach don't have a good moral compass to guide them, then we all lose for it. Particularly the next generation growing up watching this, especially if they're raised on a diet of lunch leaf. My message this Christmas is simple. Choose very carefully who you watch on YouTube, on social media in general, because where your views go really matters. It is an endorsement of that channel, of those people. Obviously, don't watch me, I'm too grumpy and I swear too much. I only let my imaginary children watch 2 YouTube channels. Number 1, Captain Disillusion, and number 2, reruns of Tom Scott. Please, Tom, come back. It's been too long. And this Christmas, when millions of people sit down to watch Mr. Beast hosting a game show on Amazon with thousands of contestants jumping around carefully choreographed explosions in a field, hoping to be noticed by Senpai, why not put on Home Alone instead?
You know, I agree with that. You guys, I agree with that. Take this month or the rest of this month. You might see this video more closer to Christmas, but take this time to enjoy your families. Watch some Christmas movies. Watch Home Alone. Just give YouTube a break, guys. I mean, if you watch this video, I really appreciate it. I really do. But give some time to your family, guys. And like he said, be very careful where you put your views to, because everything is algorithmic. Everything, if you watch one video from me, you'll watch many videos from me, hopefully. That's my end goal, you know, but I'm just here to be that guy that you can relax and watch a reaction to. But until next time, folks, make sure you leave a like down below and love others, be kind to others, and I'll see you in the next one.